city can be 100, state 100, zip code 30. Alright, so that's good. Save. One more table to create, and that is the users table, which will have 7 fields. Okay, so we want an ID, primary key, auto increment. Next will be first name, last name, email, username, password, and join date. Okay, varchar for most of these. Join date can be a timestamp, and I'm going to set the default to current timestamp. And then for these, let's just do 100. Alright. So there's our database. Now you want to make sure that you have the correct credentials inside of your config folder. Okay, so inside the application folder and then the config folder and then database, you want to make sure that you have your username, your password, and your database name. Okay, so you need to make sure that those match your database in order for it to work with it. Now what I want to do before we start programming is I want to insert some sample data into our database for when we want to actually display it in our application. So first thing, I'm going to add some categories. Okay, so if we click on categories and then go to insert, I'm going to add 5 more rows. Okay, so for categories, basically they're going to be the different consoles available. So Xbox One games, okay, PS4 games, Nintendo Wii U games. Actually, we'll just do Nintendo Wii games. Okay, next is Xbox 360, then PS3, and that's good. Alright, so you want to make sure this ignore is unchecked as well, and then click on go. Username, I'm just gonna say Brad, and of course ultimately we're not going to store plain text passwords. They're going to be encrypted, but this is just to use now. Okay, so there's one user. Now we want to add a product. Insert. We'll add a few. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just copy and paste some products. So Destiny, which is, I believe it's an Xbox One game. So Xbox One was category 1, so we'll put a 1 there. Image, let's see, image is going to be game1.jpg, and then price will be $59.99. Okay, next one is also an Xbox One game, so it's going to have the category ID 1, and let me just paste this in. Call of Duty Ghosts. Obviously this information doesn't really need to be accurate, it's just for example. And what I did was just Googled some games and copied the description. So this will be game2.jpg, and then the price is also $59.99. Let's add those. And I actually want to add a couple more. Okay, next is Watch Dogs, and that's going to be PS3, I believe, which is what? Category 5. Description. Game 3. Price is going to be $49.99. Okay, next is Sniper Elite. That's category 1. Paste in a description. Game 4.jpg, and then price for this $49.99. Alright, so we'll add those. Okay, so now we have a few products. I'm actually going to add 2 more, just to make it look like our HTML template. Okay, Batman, and this is going to be PS4, so that's category 2. Description. Image will be game5.jpg. Price $59.99. And then one more, which will be Shadow of Mordor. This will also be a category 2 game, PS4. Price, say $49.99. Alright, so there's our 6 products. I'm not going to add anything to the orders table. Alright, that'll be handled later on. So now that we have a database ready, we can start to program our application. Alright, in this video we're going to create our HTML template, which is going to serve as our user interface for the Gaming Place e-commerce application. Alright, so this is going to be it's going to be a Bootstrap template. Alright, so you can see it has very familiar Bootstrap qualities, the nav bar, the list groups. Alright, so we're just going to take the sample template that Bootstrap gives us and just tweak it a little bit to our liking. If you're not interested in watching me create the HTML and CSS, just use the project files and feel free to move on. Alright, so we're going to go to getbootstrap.com. Alright, and download Bootstrap. Okay, and then open that zip file. And I have an empty folder on my desktop called tgp_html. This is going to serve as our HTML template. Alright, so in the Bootstrap folder, we're just going to bring everything over for now. Alright, and for the CSS folder, we want to get rid of everything except bootstrap.css. Alright, and let's also create a custom.css style sheet. Alright, now JavaScript, I'm just going to get rid of the minified version, and let's create an index page, index.html. Alright, so I'm going to open up index, and I'm going to go to, on the Bootstrap site, I'm going to click on examples and then the starter template, and we just want to do a Control U and copy all the source. Alright, and then paste that in index. And I'm also going to click on, not that, right here, excuse me, starter template CSS. And I'm just going to grab this for now and put that in our custom CSS file. Okay, we'll save that. Go back to the index page. And we're going to do a few things here. I'm going to get rid of the description, author, icon. We don't need that stuff. You can keep it if you want. Title, let's just change that. I'm going to change it to the gaming place. This link to the Bootstrap CSS, I'm going to get rid of that, the min, because we just kept that one bootstrap.css file. And we want to make it so it's just going to the CSS folder. We don't need any of this. And then for the second one here, starter template, let's replace that with css/custom.css. And we're going to get rid of all this here. We don't need that. Alright, so now we're moving on to the navigation. I'm going to change the brand or the logo here. Call it the gaming place. And I'm just going to point that to the index.html file for now. Same thing with this home link. And then change about to create account.